It would help if I unmuted myself, wouldn't it? Hello, all you beautiful people out there, and welcome to Atheist Church. Before we get started, I have a couple of channel announcements to make. Number one, I have a Teespring store. Just a second, I'm wearing one of my products from my Teespring store. This is my avatar. It says on the back, actually, I forget what it says on the back, but it's got something on the back. So anyway, I'm actually going to stop the camera now because even though you can't see it, my eye, is, kind of red and swollen. So, I don't really want, even though you can't see it, I don't feel very comfortable on camera. So I'm going to stop the camera now. Okay. So the second channel announced. Also on my Teespring, there are other items besides the sweatshirt. And it comes in not only my avatar, but Freedom Me, and I Deal in Facts, Not Faith, and other things. So, yeah, if you want, go check out my Teespring store. Now, I was notified via Twitter after my live stream with Godless Engineer that I had failed to mention a super chat. And I'm going to read my post. It's already posted, but I'm going to read it because I want to give this person his due. I was notified via Twitter that someone sent me a super chat on Thursday. My apologies to Who's Your Buddy, who made a very generous super chat. Thank you very much. I think I have everything now set up to be notified when one comes in. Thank you for your understanding. So I'm pretty sure I got everything set up. I'm pretty stupid when it comes to electronics, so please bear with me. I'm still trying to figure this YouTube thing out. So, that all being said, let's get on with Atheist Church. And today's Atheist Church has to do with faith alone or faith plus works. You can pretty much make the Bible say whatever you want it to say. Case in point, people who believe that faith alone can, quote unquote, save you, in other words, get you to heaven, they're going to go to, hey, Marianne, they are going to go to the verse in Acts, which says, believe on the Lord Jesus Christ and thou shalt be saved, and thy house. So, right now I only have one channel member, that's Lisa Irwin. So thank you very much, Lisa, for being a channel member. Now, getting back to where I was. Faith plus works. people who believe you need faith plus works are going to go to James. And again, like with Acts, I don't have the exact verse, but James says faith without works is dead. So you've got, in general, you have Protestants, not all Protestants, mind you, just some Protestants that are going to say mainstream Protestantism, there you go, are going to say you don't need works, faith is enough. And then you're going to have people like Catholics. Now, I'm sure not all Catholics are going to say this. I don't want to paint with a broad brush, you know. But yes, junk shop, that too. And then you're going to have Protestants like the Jehovah's Witnesses and the Mormons and probably a few other Protestant branches to say, no, you need faith plus works to get to heaven. So, so you've got this thing going, you know, and this is what I'm talking about when I'm saying Christianity can't even agree with itself. And, you know, and you may say, well, I'm breaking my own rule by taking these verses out of context. Well, yes, I am taking these verses out of context. However, I'm only taking these verses out of context because this is what Christians do when they try to justify whatever position they have. So, yes, in this instance, I am taking the verses out of context. But only for illustrative purposes. So I was pretty much taught all my life, you know, faith was enough. You know, faith in Jesus Christ was enough. Okay. But then my conversion to Mormonism is a whole nother story. If you want me to go into that, you can leave it down into the comments. It's an interesting story, but I'm not going to go there right now. But when I switched over to Mormonism, Mormonism is faith plus works, because they say that the only way you can really show that you have faith in Jesus Christ and that you are a Christian is if you do good works. So, and I also believe that's what the Jehovah's Witnesses say. Marianne, help me out here. Is that what the Jehovah's Witnesses say? So, but I will say the Jehovah's Witnesses, if they do have that kind of mindset of faith plus works, for the community at large, their quote unquote works means preaching, which is very annoying. But the other quote unquote works are just in the community. Um, do okay. Uh, the Mormons have the philosophy that faith is shown through works. Do Jehovah's Witnesses have that same kind of mindset? I guess so, Lisa. I guess so. Um, okay. Marianne says yes. All right. Thanks, Marianne. Yeah, it's kind of like, I don't know, I mean, it's kind of like the going with your analogy, Lisa. It's kind of like, I don't know, anybody can say they believe in Jesus, right? Anybody can say that. It's just like any bad guy in prison can say, "Well, I'm sorry for what I've done." But are they? Are they really sorry for what they've done? Or are they just sorry they got caught and they want out of prison because it's a bitchy place to be and they think saying they're sorry is going to get them out of prison? I mean, so are you really going to show that you're a Christian unless you have works? Um, Now, with me being an atheist now, that doesn't really matter to me. But when I was making the transition from um, Baptist to Southern Baptist to Mormon, that was a question that I had to dwell on, you know, and that's one of the reasons that I decided to convert to Mormonism. Lisa, I guess not, because according to the faith only people, Jeffrey Dahmer's going to be there. So, you know, um, you know what? I think, if Jeffrey Dahmer's going to be there, even though he's dead and I do forgive him, but, even though, I mean, if Jeffrey Dahmer's going to be there, I'd rather go to hell. Thank you very much. Um, Nevermore says if you're Catholic, you only go to heaven if you confess and had the last rites performed. And something about Gaydar. Nevermore, do they still have that? Because as far as I know, the Catholics, or at least the Reformed Catholics, are okay with people being gay. Um, I don't know about conservative Catholics, but as far as I know, the more progressive Catholics are okay with people being gay. But that's neither here nor there. Um, Very interesting point, Lisa. Um, you know, he's supposed to know everything, right? But he had to ask where Adam was. So don't be so sure he knows everything. Oh, thank you, Marianne. So, anyway, yeah, Marianne. I haven't gotten the shot yet. I haven't gotten my vaccine yet. Still waiting. But, I will in the very near future. I'm kind of sort of high risk for it because I have asthma and epilepsy, and I live with a high risk person, so I should be getting it pretty soon. Thank you, Nevermore. So, anyway, um, so yeah, and then you've got this whole Hebrew Bible, right? It if if the Hebrew scriptures are not applicable to Christians, why the fuck do we even have it in our Bible? That's what I want to know. I mean, come on. Um, they say, we don't live under the law. Well, I did a live stream about whether Christians should be under the law or not. Jesus never said, "Hey, I set you free from the law." Okay. Jesus said, "Not one jot or tittle will pass away until all shall be fulfilled." When he said that, he was not talking about him dying, because remember, he was an apocalyptic preacher. He wasn't planning on dying. He wasn't planning on passing away in, as the Jehovah's Witnesses put it, this old system of things. He was planning on, going through to the new earth, or whatever the Jews believe. I don't exactly know what the Jews believe in relation to that. But let's just say he didn't plan to die. So he couldn't have been talking about his death, right? So what was he talking about? Hey, and Zixon, how's it going? So, well, obviously he wasn't talking about his death. So what was he talking about? Well, he was talking about everything being fulfilled, even the end of the earth, or the heavens, or whatever those apocalyptic preachers back then believed in. Um, it, the apocalyptic preachers at that point in time believed a number of different things, so it's kind of hard to lump them all together in one thing. Uh, so, um, so I believe if you read the Bible correctly, which Christians don't, they have an agenda, okay? But if you read the Bible correctly, Christians are supposed to follow the law, even though the law is basically for the Jews only. So basically, if you're a non-Jew, the Jews don't care whether you follow the law or not, okay? Because it's a Jewish thing. But if you're a Christian, you follow a Jew, right? So technically, when Jesus said that, not a jot or a tittle shall pass away, he's spreading the Jewish law to cover all Christians. So that would be faith plus works. Okay. Hey, Marianne. Yeah, I'm doing okay. Um, so, so if you take Jesus at his word, okay, it's faith plus works. And also, I was listening to Telltale earlier. If you're not subscribed to Telltale, he's awesome. If you're not subscribed to Junk Shop Library, he's also awesome. But anyway, Kenneth Copeland was on. Telltale was debunking Kenneth Copeland. That's kind of what he does. He debunks stuff. So anyway, yes, happy birthday, Marianne. So well, Kenneth Copeland has like a private jet. Now, what televangelist needs a private jet, right? But one private jet isn't enough for this douchebag. He wants another private jet. And, and Telltale pointed out, Jesus said it's easier for a camel to go through the eye of a needle than for a rich man to enter the kingdom of heaven. And most Christians will interpret that to be, hey, it's if you're attached to your riches. But if you remember the story, which some of my viewers have never read the Bible, and that's fine. I no judgment here. But what preceded his statement about camel going through the eye of a needle was a wealthy young man came to Jesus and said, what do I need to do to get into heaven? And Jesus said, sell all your stuff and come follow me. That's what he said. And because he was rich, the young man walked away. And that's when Jesus said, basically, a rich man can't enter heaven. So, now, to be fair, Jesus thought the end of the world was imminent. So, that's to be fair. But, it's still, we're 2,000 years down the road. And if you take the verse in context, which Christians don't like doing because putting verses in context makes them look very, very hypocritical. And that's the nicest thing I can say about it. But if you read the verse in context, it is quite clearly talking about selling everything you have and giving to the poor. Now, I think I did something on this, bad advice in the Bible. Now that's bad advice, obviously. Because you obviously don't want to sell everything you have and give to the poor, because then you're going to be poor yourself. and then you're going to need to be taken care of. So that's not very, don't follow that advice, you know. But what I'm saying is, if Christians really, really, really read their book, they would see this. And they don't. Either they don't read their book, which a lot of them don't. A lot of them just go, my pastor knows what he's talking about, so I'll just, blindly follow my pastor or priest or whatever. But if they do read their book, they read it with blinders on. In other words, they read it with a specific goal in mind, and that specific goal is to reinforce their faith. Yes, and perpetuating poverty. Because, if everyone's going to go out, sell their stuff, and give to the poor, exactly how's that going to work? Because, eventually you're going to get to the point where you are perpetuating poverty, it just doesn't make any sense unless you read it in the context of apocalypticism. And but anyway, I am tired of Christians being hypocritical. They want to, like I said, you can make the Bible say anything you want it to say, but when you read it without a goal in mind, when you read it without having this idea in your head that you have to reinforce your faith. And I do a Saturday live stream for those who do not know. And I'm going through the Bible and pointing out all this shit that the Bible says. And I started with Genesis 1. So I'm going in order of the Protestant Christian Bible. Okay, I'm not, I'll get to the, Catholic editions that, but I'm going to do that after I finish, Malachi. So yeah, I am going to do those books also, but after I finish Malachi. And, so, I may get demonetized for this, but I'm going to say it anyway. Jesus was what we would call, in today's world, a communist. An idealist communist, but a communist nonetheless. And so when the early Christian church, they did have everything in common because they were following Jesus' instructions, basically to be a commune. but then, you know, um, but that was the Jesus movement, okay? And I want to make a clear distinction between the Jesus movement and Christianity. Because, like I pointed out before, Jesus wasn't starting a new religion. He didn't think there was time for that. Okay. He was trying to reform Judaism. But then you have people later, at a later date, that are coming up with this, and I'm going through Chris. See my what do you mean Christianity was invented? That is the first of the series of Christianity being invented. You will find that Josephus would have lived in um, the younger disciples' days. He would have been a contemporary of the younger disciples. Hello, Otangelo. And he was the governor of Galilee. And he also had access to all the records. So if there was a movement at the time, or if Christians existed at the time in Galilee, he would have been the perfect person to tell that about. But he doesn't say anything. The only thing he says is there is a sect of Judaism that is of rather late date, and by late date he means around his time frame, and it was founded not by Jesus of Galilee, but Judas of Galilee. Okay, so that's what Josephus says. And you know, I'm doing this series. I don't have time to get into it all because it's huge, you know, which is why I'm doing a series on it. Well, yes, and Zexon, and I'm glad you pointed that out, because I I do think, you know, it's important to point out the difference between um, state communism, um, which is a lovely idea but doesn't really work, and like a community type communism, where you, like, say you have um, the Moonies, or, you know, which I know most of the what I call community communes, they're cults, and I understand that. Okay, I'm not praising the cults by any stretch of the imagination, you know, but I am saying I do think it's doable on a small scale basis. Obviously, state communism has taught us that it cannot be put into place on a large scale basis if you want to keep the ideology intact. Okay, back to Otangelo. Hey, Otangelo, glad you made it. Betty, even though we're on opposite sides, I really do like you. You know, I mean, we don't have to agree um, for me to like you. But at any rate, I've already covered that, you know, so just go back up. So but basically, even according to Jesus, you need works. And like I said, I've already covered it. So, anyway, okay, hang on. Anzac's son, that would be communal solidarity. You mean what I would call a commune? That would be communal solidarity. Uh, so anyway, so yeah, you've got all these things, going around, and you know, um, and you got all these different teachings, um, and I think, yes, he is, Lisa. Yes, Tangela, you are a nice person. I agree with that. Um, but at any rate, just be aware that Christians do read, if they read their book, because I know a lot of them don't. A lot of them don't. But if they do read their book, they're doing it to reinforce their faith, first of all. And second of all, they are doing it with a very specific goal in mind, and that is to reassure themselves that what they believe is true, even though the Bible contradicts itself. So, at any rate, I will let you guys get out of here. Remember, let me turn my cam on again. I've got this, I've got a line of items in this. This is my avatar. And there's like, something on the back. Keep learning and searching for truth, or something like that. Um, this is one line. I also have another line that says, free to be me. I also have another line that says, I deal in facts, not faith. So, if you want to hop over to the Teespring store to get any one of those, and when I say line, I mean not just an apparel line. It comes in coffee cups and all sorts of things. So, at any rate, thank you, Otangelo and Anzac's son, and everybody for stopping by. And I will see you next time. Bye.